David. It's finally happening. After all the research we've been doing, after all the conversation we've been having about the singer David, it is finally being said that David is being viewed as a suspect in the dismemberment, the hiding of the body of Celeste Rivas. We're going to get into an article here from TMZ, and we're actually going to hear from TMZ directly on what happened, what LAPD is saying, and finally, we have some updates from the medical examiner giving us a reason why David may be listed now as a suspect. Check this out.
Does the LAPD have the goods to set their sights on an individual? So let's talk about David and Celeste Rivas. We have spoken with people at the LAPD today, and they are not close to making an arrest. We are told it is, quote, nowhere imminent that an arrest will be made. That doesn't mean there won't be one, but there is a chance there won't be one in the sense that we don't even know if this was a homicide. And we pushed today to find out and could not get an answer on whether the medical examiner has weighed in and whether the toxicology findings are in. It would seem to me that in LA, even though it can take several months for toxicology to come in, that given the nature of this case, we are now talking mid-November. They must have the tox results by now.
They have to.
Again, it could show that, and this is just hypothetically, Celeste Rivas died from, say, a drug overdose. That's not a homicide. So there obviously is something, if her body indeed was cut up, because that's mutilation of a body and that's a crime, but it's not murder. It's not manslaughter. And that's what everybody is focused on right now. So does the LAPD have the goods to set their sights on an individual? The only way they can do that is once they know what the manner of death was. Again, if the manner of death was not foul play, there may well not be any kind of homicide here. And
that's wild.
We pushed, and we cannot get an answer that they're close to making an arrest, that they have a suspect. All we're told is it is not imminent. We are 2.5 months in here. They must have the toxicology report by now. And, you know, if they've got video of somebody putting the body in the Tesla on Doheny Drive, that doesn't mean that person is responsible for the death of Celeste Rivas. It just means that they put a body in a car.
Exactly. And Harvey is 1000% right. There's got to be something that we're missing here. And the medical examiner has already stated, listen, I'm trying to figure out what happened to this body, how she died, but we're having so much trouble just because the body was so decomposed already. And I see y'all talking about it in the chat as well. And no, yes, this is new. Someone just said, wait, this is new. I thought they just named him as a suspect. Nope. They had no suspects in this case up until now. And even now, it's not technically official. And we're going to get into that here. TMZ also says investigators view him as a suspect in Celeste Rivas's apartment homicide, or apparent homicide, excuse me. David is viewed as a suspect in the death of Celeste Rivas, allegedly. The teenager who was found decomposing in his Tesla, law enforcement sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ. As far as we know, there is no paperwork classifying David as a suspect, but as one of our sources told us, investigators are looking at David as a suspect. We also know, and we also have been told, they're viewing Celeste's death as a homicide. Even though medical examiners have yet to determine the cause or the manner of death, investigators are still waiting on the toxicology results. There has to be something if this is what we're hearing. One source claims the police investigation revealed that around the spring of this year, David took a trip in the middle of the night to a remote area of Santa Barbara County and remained there for several hours, which means this is a good thing to know that they either have to have David's cell phone, or he said something about it, or they got the information from the Tesla. And if they got the information from the Tesla, they should be able to have some understanding of what happened at the time Celeste's body was put in the car, because the medical examiner should be able to see how long she has been dead for. And then if you even look at the timeline that we saw from the last time Celeste was seen to when the car was picked up, it was really just a few months. So we should be able to have something there. Either way, one source claims the police investigation revealed that around the spring of this year, David took a trip in the middle of the night to a remote area in Santa Barbara County and remained there for several hours. We have not double sourced that information. It's also unclear why a spring trip would be on LAPD's radar. They have to have some type of information. We have not been able to find a photo or video of Celeste since September of 2024. David was living in the Hollywood Hills in a rented home. Cops searched the property for blood evidence, and his Tesla was abandoned on a nearby street and towed to an impound lot where Celeste's body was later found in the front trunk. Celeste's body was decomposing when it was found in a plastic bag back in early September, and our sources say it looked like the body was cut up and that the manner in which Celeste was dismembered strongly suggests whoever did it had help from other people. It is unclear if the cop has any suspects besides David. LAPD told us on Monday that they are not close to making an arrest. We reached out to David's camp. So far, no word back, and smart by David's camp. Let's hear one more video from TMZ on this.
Hey everybody, we just broke a big story, a huge story really, on the website in the David investigation, into Celeste Rivas' death. I know everyone has been waiting to hear something about this. It has been 2 months since Celeste's decomposing body was found in David's Tesla. And now we know, you know, if you for 1 second thought that the police had forgotten about this and this case was not going to be solved, we now know that the police have been working diligently on this case. And here's what we have found out from our law enforcement sources. David is viewed as a suspect in this case. That may seem obvious, but remember, they have not publicly said anything like that. They have not even said publicly that he is a person of interest. We've spoken to several well-placed sources in law enforcement, and they say that in the investigation, they are viewing him as a suspect. Another thing is they're viewing this as a homicide. We told you more than a month ago that the key thing here is police were waiting to get the medical examiner report back, and they wanted to find out the manner and cause of death. They wanted that from the medical examiner because the reality is at this point, yes, they know that her body was decomposing, that it was chopped up, but they don't know how she died, and they were waiting for those results. We are told they still do not have toxicology results from the medical examiner's office. However, what investigators do know so far is leading them to treat this as a homicide. They're still waiting for the medical examiner report to back that up, but they are viewing David as a suspect and viewing this as a homicide. So
now, TMZ doesn't usually miss, and especially when it comes to having inside information about investigations, they're usually at the forefront of breaking this type of news. So I want to know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat. We've been really on both sides of it here on this channel when it comes to is David guilty or not, because it was his car, because of some of the things that we've seen in his music, in music videos, and even with his connection to Celeste, with her being underage at the time that they met. Whole thing is weird. Whole thing is weird. So we're just going to have to wait and see when the evidence comes out. I find it very interesting that the medical examiner is having this tough of a time coming to a cause of death here. Someone might get away with it at this point, and there may only be a charge for hiding or concealing a body. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat.